Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today we're doing So You Want to Tank Iron Docks. This is a run that I did on Sanguine Week. It was a lot of fun. This is a pug, mostly pugged. I think I did have a couple of people in here. Actually, it was just a pug healer, the rest was all us. There were some things that kind of got changed around, so I want to talk about that. So since this is Sanguine Week, I had the group go after the Incinerator first, because the Incinerator, we're just going to double back here, this guy right here, doesn't like to move. And even if you LOS him, he does not care because he goes after everyone. So on Sanguine Weeks, you really want to go after him. These foot soldiers do a charge that back here trucked, and I still think it's pretty bad, but it's not, I don't think it's as terrible as it was, because it was nerfed by like 30% or something. But this is something that there's a lot of outgoing group damage, so anything you can do to help with off heals or anything intervenes if you want to intervene one of your range, because as you just seen, like, you see the damage going out. These battle masters and the foot soldiers just truck. But due to sanguine healing, you want to separate the Deadeyes and the Incinerators from the foot soldiers. So it's kind of a counterintuitive week here, but usually you that charge is really what's going to truck your group more than anything, and it's something that you want to watch out for. So we're going to be doing a Prot Warrior POV today, which is me. I was having a lot of fun. I've been having a ton of fun on the Prot Warrior lately. Same thing here. Like the thing with these old World of Warcraft, the thing with these old Warlords of Draenor dungeons is they tend to be kind of segmented off into, these are the same mechanics for most of the mobs for X amount of time, and then you're going to go to this next phase, right? Usually separated by some sort of boss or something, where it's different trash and things like that. But due to Sanguine Week, you really want those Incinerators to be gone, and I'm going to show you how difficult it can be to move them. Now, here, there is a gray puddle here, which I accidentally stood in. That was on me. I didn't see it. And it will stun you. Not fun. DKs, you can IBF that off. Now, Champion Druna does do this Burning Arrows cast, where there are orange swirlies on the ground, and you just literally don't want to be anywhere near them. They hurt. So, basically, this is kind of mini-boss after mini-boss. I don't pull these technicians or foot soldiers here. I don't think they're really they're not quite required, although that decision may have come to bite me in the butt, depending on Iron Stars, because there's something I want to highlight here, that's something that occurred when we get to it. So for here, you can skip this by turning around and hugging this pillar if you choose to not pull this here, and then go around, and then you can get the Nathrezim here. I have tried this with pugs many times. Nobody knows how to hug the wall, so now I just don't do that anymore. I pull it and I LOS. But as you see here, look, you see the Incinerator. I'm behind this wall. Everybody else is coming to me. This Incinerator is just firing at other people, does not care, and then finally he'll, like, everyone starts kind of hugging this wall a little bit more, and he starts coming in. Here we're going to pull this Siege Master as well in with it. He's not too terrible on 15 fortifieds. Like, he's not really the super big concern, but he's someone that you're going to want to watch out with, and can be difficult with Zul'gamux. So if you want to try and pull them separately, you absolutely can. But what happens here is you're going to want to, like, the Incinerator needed to be pulled a lot further back, and he was rather uncooperative, so that's why we ended up pulling him. Because usually I try and pull him with the pack that's up there, but is what it is. Also, for Zul'gamux, Prot Warriors do know that you can spell reflect one tick of the Blood Siphon, doing damage back to Zul'gamux. So I think he cast it twice. You're able every Blood Siphon to spell reflect for sure. But yeah, this is just a matter of playing it smart, watching your group, helping it with healing where you can. See, as you see here, these guys also, this Siege Master here does a little Ravager effect, where he pops this right here. And as you can see, our Shaman is standing directly in the middle of it. Just kind of unfortunate. If you don't know the mechanics, they can really hurt. He moves out, he's fine. Stay out of the twirling axe of death, really. It's usually you staying out of the twirly axe of death is usually a pretty good thing that you can do. And then here we have the technicians and infiltrator. Do note prot warriors as well. You can spell reflect every second vampiric claw. So what I like to do personally is I'll let the first one go off. I'll usually have avatar running at the start of a pull, so I'll have some sort of DR there. But as he gets closer to 30% and he casts vampiric claws, like here I cast it, boom, he got no healing out of it. You don't do any damage back, but you do get a full deflect, so he does not do any healing at all. And this is true for every single infiltrator. Unfortunately, you can only do like every second one, because he casts it a little bit more frequently than you'd like. Then up next is this Dreadfang boss, which is fairly easy. Nothing too complicated here, but some stuff that you do got to watch out for. So what's going to happen here is you're going to DPS this boss down until about 50%. Then him and his master here, yep, there you go, are going to split. Now, our DPS just wrecked Dreadfang, but Dreadfang, his frontal actually does stupidly hurt, so you want to make sure that you're trying to position him or keep him away from, you know, groups and stuff like that, where he's not just going to rush through them and tramp through all of your your melee. Then we're going to get this shield here. So we're going to do burning arrows. This reckless provocation. So what this is here is it is a shield that's put on, and if you hit the shield, you immediately get feared. We had, if I'm not mistaken, our shaman had put down Charmer Totem to get rid of the fear. So as this guy doesn't do a whole lot of mechanics, just watch the burning fire on the ground and and stuff. So I decided to pull this infiltrator in with the pack. I had banner rolling and I wanted to keep it rolling. I also got into this weird spot because I didn't see the chains here at the time, so I was trying to move out and get away from like the circles and stuff, and I didn't realize that I had to actually go around because I was like, why am I stuck? But you can't, these chains aren't really kind. But yeah, as you can see there, Spell Reflect works wonders on these Nathrezim infiltrators. Try and use a DR where you can tanks, like it's very, very good. I had banner going, I didn't want to see it go, so instead of mounting up, I decided to charge in and keep banner going. But that's strictly just me. A lot more survivable with banner than without on a mount. So while they were going, I could easily just push it through. And I had intervene to get by and get around if I needed to, so not a problem there. But these Gorgons, this is pre-nerf. These guys trucked. So here you want to grab those two, bring them in front of the third Iron Star, and then boom. Done and done. Now here I didn't notice the Ogron at first, but I pulled him into this second one. Unfortunately, we had a small miss where we didn't get as much count as we wanted to with the Iron Stars. So we actually had to pull. So you can actually kill this pack, and all of these. Now this is the one that got away. It wasn't aimed properly, and this is going to come back to bite us in the butt later. But you really want to make sure that 1 foot soldier here, not a problem. But that roaming little pack is one that you absolutely want to make sure that you catch and go and everything like that. Yeah, so here we have that Ogron that joined in as well. Not fun. But we made it work. We did have some deaths. Okay, I think he was waiting for the Iron Star. I was pulling them into place. And then boom, dead. Let's go. Keep my DPS up. Look at that. Tanked solo in 18.6k during that pull. Woo! So yeah, here we didn't manage. You can hit this last pack with the Iron Star. Unfortunately, we didn't. So these Ogron Laborers, they really do hurt. Even after the nerfs, these are guys that you want to watch out for, especially on fortified weeks. They do the same type of mechanic in Gambit with the Tidal Stomp. It's just something called a little bit different, and it doesn't stack up. It's like Thunderous Stomp or something. But it does truck. And the same thing, like, you know, these deckhands aren't too bad. They're pretty much free count as long as you're able to kind of survive and live and things like that. But the big damage dealing here is the Ogron to your party. A little bit less you as a tank, more your party. So it's something that you want to watch out for, and you don't want to pull too many of them in at the same time. You kind of want to, like, if you have to fight them one at a time, 2 max, right? But if you can not do 2 at a time, your healer would love you. That was a pathetic weak heroic leap, but it is what it is. So here, this wasn't too bad. I did say that I usually only like one Nathrezim at a time, but whatever. I knew that Ogron as well was not an Ogron and was actually shrouded, so I decided to go for it. I think I'm going to like hit a sleeping puddle or something there. Oh, I just missed it. But yeah, I knew we had the damage. We had very good DPS in this group. So a lot of these DPS were my viewers. Hello, Zing, Chugga, and Velen. Thank you very much. Well, Velen's not a viewer. He's a good friend of mine. But yeah, so here I'm kiting around for Sanguine and things like that, just trying to get it done. There was some extra healing that got off because I couldn't spell reflect every single one, but I had Avatar and stuff rolling, so it wasn't too bad. And I walked right into a sleep puddle. I've gotten better at that. It happens a lot less than it did before, for sure. And I lost Banner because of that, but it was only 5 seconds left. So I was like, alright, it's all good. I was going to lose it anyway. I decided to wait, and then I'm like, wait, why am I waiting? Don't always follow me into Iron Docks, and you should never do what I do. Like, yeah, our healer just got trucked. So I was like, alright, well, I'm on my own, baby. As a tank, you should absolutely lead the way to safety and wait until the cannons go off and then run off and pull. I was just acting like an idiot at the time and just going zug-a-zug and having a blast, and just, I was very, very hyper. Don't do what I do there and wait, play it safe with pugs. If you're in a group with comms with a bunch of people, you can tell them to wait, go over, and as a tank, nothing in that pack is going to hurt you that much, but there is the stun circles that you want to watch out for and just make sure that, you don't really get hurt. The cannons go off periodically, so you want to make sure that you're not in that or around. You can actually, so it's the Thundering Stomp there, look how much DPS damage that did to the group. But it is something you want to watch out for. You can, during the off time, you can bring out the Ogron and bring him in, so then that way you can actually, the cannons do damage to them. Another thing that you can do is you can place a gate on the side right here. So if we actually, I can't pull up the map, I'm not in game. On this side, the gate will actually go through, kind of like the Mist of Tierna Scythe skip, which you can skip right to the next pack, and skip this one altogether if you so want. It's kind of inefficient to pull this one Ogron, but you're kind of stuck doing it if someone dies before their gateway cooldown is done. But here I was playing it safe just because I knew these guys were, the healer was having some trouble with the Thundering Stomps. So I just wanted to make sure that he could catch up and go on. Sometimes I'll pull this in. On Tyrannical 15s, I'll usually pull this into that one, but is what it is. So yeah, you can set up a gate here, and it comes straight through there. You can also have someone, after the cannon barrage is done, go around and go into the boss area, which will stop the cannon RP, which is what my buddy Zing here is doing right now. So then that way we just don't have to deal with any of the RP. Unfortunately, I'm trying to get these Flame Singers dead because they like to stand in Sanguine, but I was not really noticing some stuff, and I was just trying to kind of live and move around, and things were not going as intended on this one, but it is what it is. It is kind of a nasty pack, and there I got hit by the frontal as well, so I just had to work towards surviving, which luckily Prot Warrior is really good at not taking damage. Yeah. I saw Chugga go down. I was like, intervene. I'll help him not take damage for a little bit. The healer got caught up. The healer was really, really good here. I screwed up Sanguine on this pack fairly bad. But sometimes it'd be like that, especially while you're learning dungeons and Sanguine management. This was pretty early on in the week, I think, too. As the week went on, I got much better with my Sanguine management in newer dungeons because I knew where I could kite and where I could go around. Unfortunately, there's mobs in this dungeon that don't like to move at all, so you're kind of screwed all around if you don't. I'm not sure what I was doing here. There we go. I'm moving. Oh, that's not my coffee. So, 4 pugs. So Grimrail Enforcers is a 3-boss council fight. You have Dugru, Nox, and Something Blade. Ember Blade. These bosses' healths are not tied together, so you can DPS and Zerg one down. For my group and pugs, I actually go for Nox first. I know the play is Dugru. I can spell reflect and I can live the blood bolts on a tyrannical 15 to 16. As you get into higher keys, you're gonna want to go Dugru first. But the more you can burn down Nox, the quicker, the more space you're going to give yourself, the easier time that you are going to have with Pugs. Because what Nox does is he throws out rounds of traps endlessly. And as you're kind of kiting away and moving things around, you're ending up with a lot less space throughout the dungeon. And yes, they fixed the corner strategy, so you can't do that anymore. The only thing that Dugru does is she puts a shield on one of the surviving members of the council. If you DPS through that shield, they heal for like 15 to 20% of their health, which sucks, but it's something that you can zerg down and just get through. It does make the fight last a little bit longer, but you tend to want to swap off of that one. So here we see Dugru. There was no way. Like on a fortified week 15 with the DPS we had, that shield was absolutely just going to get cranked through. But it's much easier. Alright, in a pug group, it's much easier to ask your DPS to zerg more than it is to get them to do mechanics and not hit stun traps more. Right? Take the lesser of two evils. When you're doing higher keys, like if you're in a 20, yeah, get the healer first. It's going to be the better play. In a 15 pug, get the guy that's going to make your life miserable. There's different ways to do it, and that's that I found. We did try doing the healer first, and man, the whole floor was like covered in traps everywhere because everybody was spread out as they were going along. It was an absolute nightmare, and I hated it. So right then and there, I had made the decision that from now and forever, it is Nox first in pugs, and then with guild groups or like a pre-made to go with the healer first Dugru. As I talked about that, we'll skip back. Oops, skipped way too much. Let's go back. The Grimrail enforcers here, so yeah, I didn't even talk about Emberblade. She does blood bolts, kick them. Nox does traps, get out of them. They're all around. Emberblade does a series of frontals. He does the big flaming swirling sword. He does a flaming shockwave that goes forward. It is static, so you can just sidestep it. Those are like the things that you want to watch out for. The traps are literally just nasty and not fun and can absolutely just kill a group if you're not paying attention or things like that. Like I said, asking DPS to zerg more is way easier than asking them to do mechanics. Take the lesser of two evils. But those are the big things that you have to worry about. They did fix the corner strat. You can't cheese it. They do all their mechanics. I knew that was going to get fixed. People were telling me to do it, and I'm like, why? There's no point. Stop getting used to it now. Don't even get used to it now. Just practice the dungeon, because that's going to go away. And 2 days later, there you go. Boom! I was right. But yeah, that's it. That basically is what it is. It's not that difficult of a fight. Just be kind of aware of the mechanics and try and slow DPS. But in a 15, really you don't have to worry about that shield too much. Just zerg through it, and you should be fine. So here we have one of the more dangerous packs for a Prot Warrior. Oh, I went too far. I'm recording. This is like a 5-hour video from my stream that I downloaded off. These were pre-nerf wranglers as well. So like their throw ignored armor. These guys trucked. Not fun. The Clefts, they just do what they want. You know, they'll come to you, taunt them, make sure you have them, but they're just going to randomly run off. Whenever you can get AoE stops on the Wranglers, very, very good. They are a difficult mob to deal with at times. They like to disengage and things like that. They remind me of that mob in Spires a little bit. The one that disengages and just hurls and throws stuff and things like that. Not fun. A little bit difficult to deal with, but not too bad. This was pre-nerf HP on the Clefthoofs as well. The Clefthoofs have become a lot easier to deal with, and they don't have terrible mechanics. Just stay out of the Stampede. Like, really not difficult. The Wranglers as well do have... Yeah, so as you saw the throw, through my shield block, by the way. Let's take a look at that. Rending Cleave, you want to make sure that there's nobody in the frontal. So here we have what... I'm sitting at about 95% health-ish. Throw, chonk, through my shield block. It did not care. It does not do that anymore. Your armor will actually affect it, which is very, very nice. He does do a rending cleave, so you want to try and make sure that you're keeping the Wranglers facing away from your melee and your party members. These flame spitters, you can actually spell reflect them for big old damn on that lava barrage. Just so you know, it is a little telegraphed. As you saw there, like, let's take a look. Let's go back here. So I'm kind of sitting So here he's about to cast Lava Barrage. I'm sitting at 3.6, 3.4. I'm going... So I'm at 13.8. He casts Lava Barrage. Boom, 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 boom. And I go up a little bit. And I'm sitting around 14.5k. A lot of that was that Spell Reflect that added a nice big juicy damage in there. But if you can time your Spell Reflect for those Lava Barrages, stand in the way and Spell Reflect it. Big old damn. There I was about to stand in the way and I was like, oh no, wait, I don't have Spell Reflect up. I just used it. But this whole thing is kind of rinse and repeat. Another thing to watch out for, which you might want to get an add-on like GTFO to tell you, is these Caltrops here actually truck. And I mean truck. You do not want to be in them. They slow you. They're not fun. They deal a lot of damage. Don't stand in them. Pretty simple. Really not complicated. As you can see here, my healer's definitely struggling to keep, heal me to keep alive. I'm pulling 14k HPS as a prot warrior. Like, these pulls are not easy when they ignore armor. Like, that's what you have as a prot warrior. You have shield block and armor for the everyday things. And when mobs decide those don't matter, you get hurt. You get hurt big time. So there, he was at like 10%. So here you have a Siege Master Rokra, a Battle Master, and a Nathrezim. This is actually a little bit easier of a pack because everything's going to kind of stay full a little bit more. Their mechanics are a little bit more telegraphed than what you just seen. So it's something you want to watch out for. But there is the Siege Master Rokra does kind of a Blade Storm, Fan of Knives frontal. All around, it's kind of an AoE, so your melee will want to get out of that. You should be fine with it as a tank, just standing in and tanking it, because you don't want to move them into into that frontal, which definitely kind of sucks. Frontal AoE, sorry. I'm only on my second coffee. Now here we are going to be just a touch bit short. That Iron Star bit us in the butt. So we end up at 98%, and I know there's a Nathrezim at the end, counting for 1.5 or whatever, or 1.25. So I decided to take the chance. We'll come back if we have to grab an extra mob. But I didn't want to, everyone had their cooldowns up. Boss was there. I was like, no, this is the better time to go and do this. But if you are at 99%, there's a Nathrezim around the corner that you can pull, which will finish off your count. But the Iron Stars can absolutely make or break your dungeon count at the end of a run. So that is something you're going to want to factor in. So the count to have, if you just want to do a straight line after the next boss, is 73%. That's what you want after Emberblade, or by the time you get to Emberblade. So it's something that you can incorporate and go in. But yeah, so we're just going to double back at the end, get the extra little percent that we need. It's easier to finish the dungeon, then walk a little bit for 1% count than to do a whole mob for all of the count that you don't need. Now, Oshir does this disengage, this claw slash forward, nothing too complicated there. Where the problems can lie with Oshir is in his later phases. So right after P1, which is where I say Ravager, by the way, save your AoE stops, Vortex, Ring, Binding Shot, all crazy good, because those wolves don't necessarily like to listen to threat and will just run amok. You really want to AoE burst them down. Another thing that Oshir does is he jumps on a target. So here he jumped on our Shadow Priest. I immediately intervened, and he starts taking a lot less damage. Warriors, take note, intervene very good here. As a Paladin, you can also bop it off very, very strong. The next thing he's going to do is he's going to rush towards a different cage, and he is going to unleash this bat, I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's a bat. Boom. What you want to do as a tank is you don't want to AoE anything. You don't want to get any dots on the Sky Terror and have a Druid hibernate it. It can be hexed, I do believe. That's what happened here. Yeah, it was hexed. Frost Trap, Para, whatever. You want to CC it and ignore it. Do not DPS it down, because it has a constant kick cast that just does acid spit and ruins all of the floor that you have. And Oshir likes to disengage into it, and it's just not fun. So that's basically how you deal with Oshir. He's actually a pretty fun boss. I like him. So here, like I said, we're at 98%. I was really hoping that like it was like 98.9 or 98.8%, and I didn't see. So we just pulled the infiltrator, who ended up who's right there, who actually ended up being only a little bit not as much as we needed. But that was a lesson learned. So this is why I wanted to include this run in the So You Want a Tank, because everybody makes mistakes, and especially as I was learning the dungeon and the counts. But if you have 73% when you get 2 Ember Blade, you know you are good. The last boss. Now this one is pretty fun. Apparently there's a fun reset that you can do with hunters, but we're not going to talk about that. So here is kind of another council boss. Koromar is the orc that you want to burn down, because until Koromar is burned down and dead, this one is just going to shoot random party members in that big old turret, and to get him out, Koromar needs to die. So here we zerg him down. Boom. I wasn't quite paying attention at the launch there. Now, lucky he didn't go anywhere. So then you want to start going towards Zul'gamux, and then all there is Skollok. Skollok is one that you want to make sure that you kind of have some sort of active mitigation and stuff going. Not fun. He does the slap back with the cannon barrage. Warriors, you can just heroic leap over here. As long as you have bounding stride, you shouldn't have a problem. I wanted him to die, and I wanted my banner going. The hunter turtled and went over, but I wasn't quite ready yet to charge, so he almost died, but that was on me. After he dies, it's just a rinse and repeat of Skollok. One of the orcs does a Blade Storm, watch out for it, and then he charges around a little bit. Those are more DPS concerns than you, but you do want to try and move Skollok over to where he finishes, so then that way you can, cleave off of and try and get more damage, because it's more efficient to, do damage to 2 things at once than it is to 1 at a time. But yeah, that's basically Skollok. There's nothing too complicated about it. DKs, I'm sorry, this is actually probably a dungeon where you're going to want your Wraithwalk. Have a Warlock, have help, Paladins, you can bubble through it, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so you're going to go through, and you can heroic leap to the side, charge down, and stop the other cannon, because until he's hit, you want to also use a ranged ability if you're slow, so DKs, use your Death's Caress. Aside from that, like I said, we were 1% short. We're just going to go down to that dock and kind of murder Zerg one down. This was an easily timed key. I was testing some stuff out and things like that, so it's I'm not at my best, but it kind of is what it is. But that's So You Want to Tank Iron Docks. It's not complicated. Let a lot of the dungeon do your work for you, and try and help out where you can. Bears Ursol's Vortex at the start, so when they do the charge to one of your friends, bring them right in. Very, very useful. Monk's Ring of Peace, kind of put a ring of peace between your DPS and you. There's a lot of easy things that you can do to help out, and helping out your party is going to go a long way than just you, because there's not a lot of things that do damage to you in the first part of the dungeon, but in the second part of the dungeon is where things start kind of hitting a lot harder, which is something you want to watch out for. I think the bosses are actually all kind of pretty fun and on their own. It's a good dungeon. I actually really, really like Iron Docks this season. It's a lot of fun. Very fast paced. It's a pretty quick and easy dungeon to go in and do, with lots of different fun mechanics that allow you, the tank, to interact a little bit more. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Love you guys to death. Have yourself a good one, and thank you very much for all the support. Bye.